Hi, my name is Carlos Robles Peralta. This is my BCOR 3510 video presentation. Our project or our task was to develop a new product for the first date experience or just, the dating experience in general. And, I decided to name it Fire and Vines. It's essentially a nice little service product that is for everyone, even single people, because you never know, you might just find your soulmate during my experience. So quick little inspiration story. I'm someone that likes to go through TikTok or Instagram and just find different ways of cooking my meals. I'm always looking for a new recipe. And I came across the Asado experience, which is a small little Argentine company that provides cooking classes for people who are interested in this Argentine style barbecue or the gaucho style barbecue. It's essentially you cooking over an open fire with a grill that you can crank up or down to keep the heat levels up or down with the meats. It's a very interactive, kind of gives this little risque feel to it. But this company targets more on the high-end side with high-end meats and high-end wines, hence the high-end price points. I mean, for us, it may not seem like a lot of money, but to the average Argentine individual, it does cost a little bit. However, they do make a good point at their marketing and just how they make everything look. It seems very appealing and just makes you want to go down there and try it yourself. So I figured maybe we can do something like that here. I haven't seen something like that. And if we do, who would be interested, right? And just thinking, to myself, I figured we can maybe look at the LA, Long Beach area. I'm local. I'm from Long Beach, but I've also had a lot of experience in downtown LA. And I figured we can target the 30 to 45-year-olds, mostly in plain simply because they can afford it, right? They may have a steady income stream, and they also have a steady, reliable source of transportation. Especially in LA, you need to get around. However, you do have your outliers, right? You have your Ubers, which can take you to point A to point B, and you have your young individuals that may be interested in just overall learning how to cook or just a different type of experience, right? And this is something that maybe we can offer them as well. I'm thinking about a price point of 120 per person. I originally started at 80, and then I can cover in my next slide like why I decided to go a little higher. And simply put, is because before I decided to go any further with my idea, I really wanted to see, am I on the right track? Do I have a good idea? Would people even be interested? Right. So I decided to create a Qualtrics survey. I reached out to a small group of people and I just said, hey, are you, if I were to bring this, would you even be interested? Right. And these are some of the questions that I asked them. Do you like to cook? If you don't like to cook, would you even be willing to learn to cook through an experience? Would you be willing to pay $80 or more for the experience? And for the most part, at least for people in that age range, they want to know how far is it, right? So I asked, are you willing to drive 30 plus or miles? 30 plus miles or more, sorry. And it was pretty interesting because what the results said was, I have a pretty good idea here. Sorry. I have a pretty good idea here. 81% of the people said that even if they didn't know how to cook, they would be open to the idea of learning how to cook through this experience. 89% of them said that they were willing to pay $80 or more for this experience. And about 2/3 of them were willing to drive 30 plus miles, which said, I think I'm on the right track, right? And to give you an idea for our concept, if we do this, like we would want to start small. It's more manageable. It keeps things intimate, especially when you're doing this couples ambiance experience, right? You're giving the couples room to interact with one another, but you're also managing a group overall without letting anyone, stray behind. And I'm thinking maybe 10 to 15 couples is fair. Assuming we get good at this, we can also consider private sessions or just some corporate team building events, to drive up our revenue. But in terms of what type of meat we'll be covering, I was part of this hibachi experience not too long ago, and maybe we can utilize that model where, prior to the chef showing up to your event, they give you options for meats, right? Do you want chicken, shrimp, salmon, lobster, filet mignon? And obviously, the more uh expensive the meats, obviously they're going to charge you a little bit more. So like the tomahawks, right now I feel like that's like a big sexy thing. It's all over Instagram. People are going to these fine restaurants and just capturing this picture of the tomahawk. Maybe we could offer that, for a higher price point, but you can still have that. The filet mignons is a popular meat as well, but it's more on the expensive side. And but not to discourage the people that on the lower price point, you can still offer your chickens, your sausages, your New York strips, still keep it manageable within everybody. But for the people that maybe just want to do the couples night out, you can offer something a little bit more fancy, right? And then this is something how the grill will look like when it's in full on action. You stuff the coals underneath. And then through this little pulley on the side, on the right-hand side, you can crank the grill up and down to manage the temperature of the meats. This is just another picture. But also I'm thinking maybe we can partner up with some local wineries. We're in California. We have our own vineyards up in Napa Valley. Why not partner with some local vendors in keeping everything local, right? Whether it's natural based wines or just some traditional old wines, that's fine by us. And maybe we can sell the bottle if we had a site, where we can show people and they're interested in buying the bottle, we can sell the bottle on site, maybe collect a commission on top of that as well, or just keep some of the profits, right? Now all this may seem good, but what's a startup cost? From a 30,000-foot level, I'm thinking it's going to cost about $50,000. This includes the grills, the cutlery, the utensils, all the essential items that's going to help us get started, right? And then with a variable cost right now, I'm just only considering meats and wines, depending on the cut of meat, depending on the wine as well. This is just something that will constantly fluctuate. I mean, we don't even have a fixed location yet. So, when you're thinking about a fixed location, you're also thinking about rent, which is your fixed cost. Thinking about downtown LA, yes, it's more expensive, but people tend to go there also. So there's a give and take. Maybe you can consider Long Beach, or maybe you can just consider being mobile, right? Instead of having a fixed location, you can consider yourself being mobile. But we can leave that TBD. And then just thinking about our return on investment, if you decide to partner with me, you can easily get your $50,000 back with 30 sessions roughly. While 30 sessions, 30 cooking experiences may seem like a lot of money, when you're thinking about it across 365 days in a calendar year, this is really just a fraction of it. So I can tell you that there is opportunity here, right? You could make something out of this business. And just looking around, there really isn't competition like this right now, at least not in the South Bay area. Everyone's really focused more on traditional American barbecue. Their price points are a little bit, all over the place, from $95 to $3,500 for team building experiences. This other business is charging almost $500 for a 6-hour cooking experience, but it covers smoking, grilling, baking, how to start a fire, how to manage a fire. It's a very hands-on type of training workshop. But that's not us, right? We want to do maybe a 2 tops 3-hour experience where we teach you how to cook this meat that essentially you could take home with you at one point, at least the knowledge, you can take it with you, and then you can try that experience for yourself at home. But the ambiance, the experience that we're aiming for, is psychologically, when you think about a cooking experience or just a grilling experience in general, it gives you a sense of community, right? At least for me, when I'm doing family barbecues, I'm always thinking about positive experiences, always a good time, always laughter going around. But when you're focused around our business model, we want to also encourage you to try something new, right? A lot of us, at least the couples that are going to go and experience this, maybe you're a new couple, or maybe you're just going on on a date night that you haven't gone on in a while. All of us are looking for something new. And if you're surrounded with all these strangers with the same goal in mind, which is to have a positive communal experience, you're also going to jump on this bandwagon of trying something new, right? And this is just another example of what I'm thinking. If we had a site, what the external, ambiance could look like, maybe with some music in the background, and then leading to the goods, right? Like obviously the delicious part of it. I apologize to the vegetarians, but maybe we can think about a vegetarian experience as well. And then maybe serve it on this type of unique dish or maybe something else, but just thinking out loud right now. And how would we market this? How would we market our brand? You have your traditional models, which is radio. The most effective that proves for small businesses is word of mouth, but also community events, like farmers markets. Do you want to go and try, people with samples, right? What do you have to provide? Or maybe just the social media, like a LA Bucket List, which is a third vendor group that just lists all these different experiences that are going on within LA. You can put yourself in there and just an easy way to reach you, right? And you also have your traditional routes like Instagram, TikTok, and X. But retrospectively looking at everything, there's opportunity here. There really is no competition. You can fluctuate with your price points based on our market research. People are willing to pay a little bit more. And just depending on how you're willing to offer it, how you're willing to present it to people, you could up your pricing a little bit more. And if you decide not to get a fixed location, maybe you can go mobile. You can go to Napa and talk to all these vineyards and say, hey, would you be open for me to bring this experience to your people, right? And then just charge from there. Or maybe just do some celebrity parties, assuming that we can go big, on the social media realm. But if you're an investor, if you're interested in partnering up, please give me a call. And you never know. You never know what's around the corner. This could be an interesting business venture. So with that said, thank you so much. This is Fire and Vines. Give me a call. Thank you.